What's going on? What's going on? welcome, guys. Just gonna get this set up. Gonna get this cleanup done. The material's hard. A lot of clay. A lot of clay. I don't know why I can't see the chat. I'm not that great with this stuff. Let me see. No. Hey, Graveyard. Thanks, man. I don't know why. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, man, let me tell you what. And I washed this a lot, trying to get it out of there. But man, what a nightmare. In the past, I spent like 3 days up in the Turner property up in North Georgia. But yeah, the clay was just, it was incredible. And it was stuck to all that cobble, like really glued to it. So like in order to get any gold, you had to like really wash the rocks of it. It feels like it took forever. Got gold though. Got the gold though. But I am going to probably run this through the cleanup sluice. And then I'm gonna hand the course back. I don't think there's anything in the course, but you never know. But man, that black, a lot of that black sand is super coarse. There's some super coarse stuff in there, but yeah. But we should be pretty good in that. Let me get this fired up. Let me get you moved over here. Of course, got the battery box. Much lighter than 12, carrying around a 12-volt car battery. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Guys in view here. Try to anyway. Yeah, I used this this adventure sluice, this Dream Mat adventure sluice. I used it for as a cleanup. But I've made a couple different cleanup systems utilizing this, but since I go right to, since this, all this is my real inexpensive Miller table, right? Since I use it anyway and I don't have to keep reconnecting the hose to something different, I just set this on top of there and it sticks. And then once I clean this out into a pan and I use the Miller table, I'll level off the Miller table and clean up after that. But it works good, you know, just for a little cleanup, a little recirculating cleanup. But the cleanup I'm getting a new cleanup sluice that's gonna absolutely blow this away, like big time. Think of I'm gonna run the fine stuff through here first. But if you think of the V-Ridge mat that I have, but if you think of that in more of a cleanup version, that's what I'm gonna transfer to. This is gonna make my water dirty as all get out. And I got a blue bowl, but I've used it like maybe 2 times. and I haven't used. I might actually give it away on my channel. I just with the blue bowl. Blue bowl works real good for round gold versus flat. Miller table's better for flat than round. Round gold will roll off. But the problem with the blue bowl is you have to classify so many different classifications to make it work, and it just seems like it takes all day to do what you could do with a pan and a cleanup sluice and a Miller table. Just seems like it takes forever to me. Getting good circulation in there. Most of this came out of the side of the bank in my last video that I was working. I dug down to bedrock. The clay was just red Georgia. Clay is ridiculous. Graveyard, I'm absolutely 100% behind you, brother. I used it twice and I'm like, nope, there's just not, it's like watching paint dry. And I'm not like, I enjoy the process, but that is just on a different level, you know, and it just, gold right there. I just don't have the time for that. That's just too much for me. And for what it does, I mean, maybe somebody else will have better use out of it than me. I'll give it away, but and this is not 100% either because I'll have to go through that again, but it gets it close anyway. I did demagnetize this. But I did it dry and then I wetted it because I kept trying to clean this out better to get the cloudiness out of there. Property that I was at, the club property, it's good. I mean, there's gold there. It's nothing like the Lost Mine site that I work. The Lost Mine site is just, the club property, you gotta remember, it gets worked by a lot of people constantly. The Lost Mine site, I'm the only one that's touched it since the miners left, so. We got gold in the cell right there, which is good. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of this, but I know we have gold in the snuffer bottle. Gold there, gold there, gold there. We're getting all, yeah, we got some gold in there. Got some gold in there. Gold. Chunky. Definitely chunky digging down into that, where they took an excavator and they removed like a huge tailing pile. You see where Dream Mat holds on to a lot of the black sands? The V ridge and the cleanup part of the V ridge will literally strip all the black sands from the gold, so you have very, very little cons left over. The less cons I gotta pack out, the better I feel. This is better on my back. Yeah, we're on the gold, guys, so we got gold in here. I'm gonna dump some of this dirty water out into a bucket. That's better. Right in the unicorn right there, there's a chunk. There's more in there. I didn't even pan. I mean, I panned it back at the end just a hair, just to see. But I know, yeah, there's a piece of gold right there too. But just through test panning. Yep, thank you, Graveyard. Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming along, giving the thumbs up. Appreciate you. Definitely on the gold right there. That cell is almost full. We got some bigger chunks in there. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just doing the cleanup from the 3-day camping trip that I did. We're showing gold in there, which is good. A little chunky. When I finish this out, I'll take the camera and I'll show you guys what's in here so far. We're doing all right. It's a real chunky black sand in there. Bigger than what I'm used to playing around with. Get you guys out here to show you the super view of it anyway. Hang on, cats. There we go. You can see it all in there. Down into there too. That cell is pretty full, and it's even in that little U right there. Cool. Good stuff. Get you guys back. Get back. Got to go through the course real quick. I'm just going to pan that back by hand. I don't have to run that, and then we'll clean this out into the clean that out into the cleanup pan. And then we'll mill or table it. I'm not going to do away with the miller table just yet because we're going to actually use that. And the Falcon pan is absolutely epic. That cleanup pan is incredibly nice. The bubbles are from the jet dry. Breaks the surface tension of the water, keeps the fine gold from floating. Actually going to do this over on the table instead of here. There we go. We got a little bit of gold out of that. That's not terrible. Just having a speck would be a win for me. It's hard enough to find anything. Sometimes you go out there and dig your heart out and be in the places you're getting lead shot after lead shot. You're in the heavies. It's supposed to be there and it's never there. So being able to get on is pretty cool. It's not as easy as it looks online, I guarantee you. I'm trying to find prospectable areas. Got most of that out? Did we? I think so. Yeah, most of that out. I'm going to sink this pan down below. Use it as a catch pan. Knock the course out and then we'll mill or table the rest of it. I'm not really expecting a whole lot in the course, if anything. See how cloudy that is. Whoosh. Gold claw it. Hunt rut. All right, so I'll give you a little example. This is what I do, okay? Because I do have a lot. I do save some of my. I do save some of my bigger quartz pieces. And I even have bigger than that. big stuff. This isn't quartz though. But like when I'm breaking up stuff like that, my big quartz, the best way to do it manually, you'll still need a rock crusher, right? But you need to get somebody to fabricate you one of these, right? You could even probably take a pipe and like a sledgehammer head or something like that and make one. But what I do is I'll take MAP gas or propane gas and like a torch, and I'll superheat that quartz up with a torch and get it super like glowing red hot. And then I'll dump vinegar in it. Like I'll have it in a pot, red hot in a pot. I'll dump vinegar in it, or pick up the rock with like a pair of tongs that's red hot and put it in a pot of vinegar, white vinegar. That fractures and shocks that quartz to where when you put it in here, it just crushes it super easy. Versus not doing that, because quartz is super hard. But yeah, I get it super hot, and then I put it in vinegar, white vinegar. What the old timers used to do. But it makes crushing it just so much easier. Yeah, it's no worries. That's what we're here for. Knowledge transfer. And I'll do the same thing at the end of the year. I save all my magnetics and black sand that I pull out of the material, and I separate that and do another coffee can. I'll superheat that up like in the wintertime, and I'll throw that into vinegar as well, and then stamp that out. It removes the sulfides away from it, and sometimes you can get a little bit of gold out of your magnetics and black sands that way. Black in there, wow. I'm not expecting anything in the Plus Kitchen strainer, but I've been wrong a time or two before. It's a nice bonus when it's in there. Hunt rut, yes, this is called a gold claw pan. It's used very different than a traditional round pan, but this is called the gold claw. I have the little pocket one, and this is the medium sized one. Then they make a big production one that does like 2.5 gallons at a time. I use this pan a lot for test panning because you can only get it small. But you can only get it like a shovelful in at a time. And I'll give you a closer look at it, but it's all used underwater. And these riffles are for your fine. It's bigger riffles, smaller riffles, and then this is the big coarse. But on the edge right here, it's almost like a Miller table, and that's why you see me knocking it to the side. Then I'll run it off of here because I can slough off the lights. And I have the little pocket version of this too, but I just find this so much faster than a traditional pan. And then of course I have the Pyramid Pro pan that I love as far as a production pan goes. I know Clint makes a production version of this, but nothing in my mind would beat the Pyramid Pro pan for production. And this does a pretty good job as a cleanup pan too, but as test panning, I know if I get a couple of colors in this small one shovel full, I'm good to go. And I can test pan super fast. Like I don't have panning. I know some people enjoy it. I'm not taking anything away from that, but if I'm prospecting and I'm trying to test out an area and I really want to, the more you test pan, the better off you're going to know the area. So if I could do several more test pans using this pan versus a traditional round pan, it helps me identify where the gold's at better. And it's less energy consumption on my part to use a pan like this. It's just so fast. And they come in different colors too, but it's called Gold Claw. I'll flip the pan over and you'll see it, but it's they're on Amazon. Nice little chunky right there. Shot out of there. This is all real coarse stuff. I got some shotgun pellets I gotta clean out too. But I love Gold Claw. It took me a while to get used to it. Hunt Rut? No, I'm in Georgia. I'm in a little bit west of Atlanta, Georgia. That's a pretty piece of gold right there. Could almost pick that up. Flaky though, it's flat. Grab my snuff bottle here. Yeah, I'm in Georgia. I'm either in West Georgia or North Georgia when I prospect. Yeah, I went in there. The gold rush started here in Georgia, actually, in when the colonies were here, before we even owned California, when California was still Mexico. Georgia is where the gold rush started before it went west. And of course up in Alaska. And the gold here in Georgia is 24 karat or purer. It's the purest gold in the United States. I pick out all the lead shot. So I don't want to put it back in the ground. There's another piece of lead shot right there. Yeah, that was a good piece. Just got to be careful of when you're in Dahlonega and Aurora and Lumpkin County, Georgia. If you're prospecting up there, there's sometimes you can get into some mercury attached to the gold. I'm just slowly rocking this back. And once I get a decent amount, I can look again. I think it was just that one piece in there. We'll do it one more time and then we'll Miller table the fines. But I love this. This pan has been like a godsend to me. I'm actually going to get either a blue or a green one instead of the black. But it's made my prospecting and searching so much easier. it's a trick to learn how to use it, because if you're used to a traditional pan, this one is used completely underwater. But you don't need a classifier or anything. It classifies beautifully on itself. So it's less items to take out with you if you're just prospecting around. And that property I was on in my video where this comes from, I'm not real used to that property. That's why I took the ATV out there and camped out there for a couple of days. I wanted to kind of really search it. Use the metal detector. Hey, Bad Kentucky. Hey, thanks for the sub, prospecting. Yes, this is all from the camping trip. Bad Kitty. All right. Yeah, I appreciate you coming by. There's a couple tiny little pieces in there. This is just a course I'm working through. I had one little decent piece come out of that. But this is from the camping trip. And I'm not used to that property or the material or anything like that. Oh, let me show the claw. It's Gold Claw. Goldclaw.com. Made here in the United States. That's Gold Claw. Oh, nice, Bad Kitty. Thank you, 5280. I appreciate you, man. Yeah. I like to get out sometimes, and I'll pitch the big glamping setup, and sometimes I do just a small little two-person jammy, just depending. I was going to try to go out there this Memorial weekend, but the rain, I was just trying to dodge a lot of the rain coming out of there. I'm going to knock this down with the Falcon pan a little bit before we put it on the miller table. Bad Kitty, are you a member of the Weekend Gold Miners? Ah, I got you. South Florida. Well, there's gold in Florida too. It's just on the beaches with a metal detector. Too much water in there. Put my other eyes on, guys. Hold on. My other eyes. Sucks getting old. Your eyes don't work as well as they used to. So I want to make sure that before I take what's in here out of here, that I'm not getting rid of any of the finer gold.
Some of this gold can be so fine you can't even see it with your eyes. But I like looking at the material too, the composition. The black sand in this is super chunky. A lot of quartz in there too, a lot of garnets.
Yeah, we're pretty safe right there. It's coming up on the sides right here in the corners. Oh man, it's coming out all over the place. I may have to Miller table this, guys. It's gonna be a lot to Miller table, but I don't see any other way. It's everywhere in here. I kind of thought it would be with the clay, but I wasn't sure. I don't ever want to jinx myself and say, oh yeah, it's good. And then you get 2 or 3 flakes and that's it.
But to do this with just this pan would be a nightmare. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, the Miller take is, I mean, I love the Falcon pan if I'm out and I can't run, I don't have a way to run the Miller table, I can't bring it with me, but I don't like to really clean up Creekside. But this is trying to roll this back gently. It's squirting out the sides with the fines. I'm just gonna do it rough just to take a look at it because it's coming up right in here. It's coming out right in here on the sides before I'm even getting into the meat of it. There's a piece right there. I just want to take a look and see. Yeah, it's all in there. You can see it all in there. That's pretty decent pieces in there too. There you go. That's even a better look. Right there. I'm just doing it rough. I'm going to put it on the Miller table, guys. Don't worry. Just wanted to kind of get a look. Yeah, it's quite a bit of fine with some coarse in there. It's running all down through here too. Yeah, let's get the Miller table running for sure. And I'll just ease it in there. My cheap Miller table. I took a mud box that you use for drywall, drilled some holes in it. Then what I do is I just put it on the end of my box right here. And I use a clamp. So this is kind of like a catch. But then what I can do is I can level it off or raise it up and down to run the Miller table. Hey, all things country. Getting the cleanup done on the camping trip. Got it just about almost getting close anyway. I screw in a little vial, goes into the bottom of this. So I used a brush to catch it. Oh yeah, man. Especially from this property because I'm not used to it, so it's different than what I'm used to running. Slow this down just a little more. Just want it creeping at first. And I level it off with that mud box. My cheap Miller table, I only paid like $70 for it. And all it is basically he bent some aluminum and you use spray chalkboard paint. But it grips. I mean, I've used slate before too, but the old timers used to use slate. We got some gold in there for sure. We'll just do a little bit at a time here. Trying to get you guys out of the glare. That sucks with the glare. There we go. That might be better. Not used to all that clay. Yeah, so the black, this is just aluminum, right, that he bent. This is 3D printed. The guy from Canada made this. But all I did is bend aluminum and he sprayed it with chalkboard paint. So when I refresh this, once I see it start to get thin, I just bought a can of chalkboard paint and I just resprayed the bottom of this. But a person could use like a piece of a slate too. Like I took a piece of tile. Just take a piece of tile, right? Chalkboard paint that, but you know, a piece of slate tile would work. Anything would work, just as long as you got the water running over it evenly. Hold on, guys. Let me get my speaker. I forgot mine. Put my microphone down and I'm sitting here talking to you cats. All right, this should be better. Yeah, it's just chalkboard paint. Yeah, it's a Gold Slayer Miller table. I only paid like $70 for it or something like that shipped at the time. I don't think he's shipping them here anymore. But I was like supporting somebody trying to make a buck, and you know, I'm a prospector too, so I get it. By the time you're all said and done with the material, buying the aluminum, trying to 3D print everything out. Making sure nothing's coming off the edge. Yeah. I mean, if you could bend some aluminum, all you need is chalkboard paint. And I mean, he 3D printed the piece on the bottom that the little vial goes into, but you can make any kind of catch. You could make this out of wood. If you took some wood, some plywood and make it, and then take chalkboard paint and spray it. It'd work the same way. You could make this out of wood. You don't have to necessarily make it out of aluminum. There's an older gentleman on YouTube from years ago. He has some really nice videos on how to make these out of wood. He did it for his son. The state he lives in, his son would he'd go to the drainage on the ditches, on the roadways, and collect material and find gold in it. Or his grandson, I'm sorry, not his son, his grandson. So he was making wooden cleanup boxes, and he did a really beautiful job on them. But I don't know if that gentleman's alive anymore or not, but his videos are still up. They're pretty cool. That's what I was gonna do before I bought this one, was just make one out of wood. I'm doing the tailings into this, but we're on gold. Definitely got gold in there. I just don't want to put too much in here at one time. As you can see, the gold right in here, all in there. Seriously chunky black sand. It's not as fine as I'm used to it being, but all that red is just crazy, all that clay. They had the clay basket in the high banker, and it was just like watching paint dry, trying to let it chew that out. The water from the brush going around it creates an eddy. So I bring it up next to the pile, not on top of the pile, next to it, and it'll chew away at the material and flow it out, as you can see. I'm not brushing the material, I'm just using the brush as like an eddy. And it'll break up that material. Some wiry looking gold right there. We're not in the good stuff yet, guys. This is just a tailings I was gonna run off, but I wanted to dump it in here just to see if there's any finds. The new cleanup sluice that's being worked on right now is going to be insane, because it's based off of that V-Ridge, Sean Dilley Picklepuss V-Ridge, but in a cleanup sluice form. That will cut 90% of all this black sand from the gold, and it uses disruptive oscillation, so that's going to be absolutely incredible once I get my hands on that. Nice little piece right here. In there. A couple of small pieces in that tailings, but nothing crazy. Oh, we'll get some gold in there. Yeah, we got some chunkies. Definite chunkies in there. anything will work. 5280. Sheet metal, aluminum, wood. You're basically just making a small sluice thing. Make a header box, and then just paint this. Have the surface flat and paint it with chalkboard paint. That's all it is chalkboard paint. I don't know if I think it's in my cabinet behind my four-wheeler. But it's just, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart, and you get a can of that chalkboard spray paint, I just refresh it. Sometimes I'll take a coarse piece of sandpaper down here at the bottom and just scuff it lightly after it dries real good, just to make it even more coarse, to give it just some real fine riffles. But that's all it is, just chalkboard paint. The old timers used to use slate, and you're just replicating that with the chalkboard paint. If you look on YouTube for cleanup sluice or handmade cleaners, there's an older gentleman that makes them out of wood and uses roll-on chalkboard paint. Works really good. Much cheaper than some of the Miller tables. They're like $300-400. I'm like, there's no way. But this was a good alternative. There's a decent little bit of gold right there. Get that clean. If your gold is real round, you have to slow this down and level it off even more, otherwise it'll just roll off, and that's why I have the catch basin there. Flat gold it does really well for. But I'm using the brush as an eddy, and it's pushing that material around it, spreading it out, instead of using the brush to actually push the material. A nice little pile of gold right there. We're not done yet. We still got the good stuff yet to go. But sometimes I'll get a round piece and I'll follow it down and I have to catch it and bring it back up. See, like that piece trying to come down right there. Once I got it all like that, it all goes into that vial. Sometimes you see a real tiny little micro. That's the bad thing about having these glasses like this. It makes the stuff you can't see look like chunks, and you're like, oh my God, it's everywhere. And it ain't worth anything, but it's like it's there. You want to capture it. Should be the last bit of it right here. Not breaking any records, but it's still, I like that it's chunky. For Georgia, that's pretty cool. Bad Kitty, it doesn't. It just, I mean, layers just keep it from wearing out, because you got to remember, as you're using it, it's almost like using wet sandpaper, because you're putting basically wet sand running over the top of it. I maybe only have to refresh this with the spray paint once a year, and that's it. But the chalk, if you put your hands on a chalkboard, you feel it's kind of rough, right? When you write on it with a piece of chalk. So essentially, it's just turning it into a piece of slate, really. But more layers just means it's more durable. It isn't going to make it any better. You could take a piece of, like, I don't know, 80 grit sandpaper or something, and make like a small coarse swath right through the middle, maybe, just to catch. You could do that.
to catch some of the super fines. I do that some. I just didn't do it with this paint, but I did it with the last one. And I'm going from the bottom, working my way up, and there's gold still in all this pile right here, so I'm bringing it up to the top. Hard to keep it from the round, little small micro round stuff wants to roll right down. And that's why I usually take a piece of rough sandpaper and just make a small strip of rough scratches in the paint to hold that real fine stuff. But I also have the catch down here at the bottom too that I'll look at when I'm done. And I kind of use it like a small gold pan. There's some super fine in there, wow. Wasn't expecting that much fine. I'm gonna have some of the catch over here. Running it a little hot, let me slow it down just a hair. Having the pump on the controller, I can just dial it down. But some of this is just so fine that if I take these glasses off, I won't see it with my old eyes. But it adds up over time. When I did Aaron's 10 live streams worth of cons and I demagnetized it, I got a decent amount of little gold out of his cons. He didn't think it would be that much in there, but honestly, was it worth all the work I put into demagnetizing it and going through it? No, of course not, but I just like finding gold. So it doesn't matter, it's more of a hobby than anything. But Yahoo is just incredible to try to work through with the magnetics that are in there. One more snuffer bottle. This is from the test panty. Yeah, no problem, 5280. That's what we're here for. It's all knowledge transfer, you know. We're such a niche, hobby that it's good to share information, always. Bigger chunks there, that came out of that course. That's a pretty nice flake right there. It's hard to get off the off the table. It wants to sit there. Yeah, but I prefer the Miller table over the Blue Bowl any day. But I am going to give away the Blue Bowl on my channel to somebody who might want to use it or try it even. Because I only used it twice and that's it. It works, it's just, it's not my cup of tea. It takes too much time for me. Not that I don't, I just enjoy doing this more with the miller table. It's got us, gang. That's got us. I forget what I do with my cap. There it is. Cloudy water, a little rusty, not too bad. I'm gonna dry it out. We'll get a weigh on it. I think 0.1 or 2 maybe. I don't know, there's some bigger chunks in there. Dry it out. Get you guys moved, hold on. Anytime I can make something and don't have to buy it, I'm that kind of guy. Sometimes I'll look at something and be like, do I want to spend the money or can I make that? And sometimes I just make it myself. Just want to check the tailings out of this real quick. Sometimes I'll get a few pieces in here. Get my eyes on. All Things Country, mud box for doing drywall installation. And I drilled holes in it, and that's what I use for my catch pan. I know on your channel, you have like this thing where you're using all these different types of things for a gold pan. I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Mud box for doing sheetrock as a gold pan. My lighting sucks at my garage. I need to get better lighting. All right, let's see what we got here. If anything, it probably is. There always is. I'm gonna do it this way. I can see the damn light. Yeah, there we go. Another little pro tip, take that coarse sandpaper and on the edge of your pans that are smooth, put some fine scratches in it, and then when you're sloughing it off, it'll hold that material. Acts kind of as a handmade miller table. Because the Falcon pan is, the surface of the Falcon pan is much like a miller table. It's like chalkboard surface. There's no riffles in that pan whatsoever. But the lip is designed to be real thin, so when you put it in and you're your working material, you're not getting a lot of splashes, but that's a finishing pan. But there's absolutely no riffles in it. The texture on that pan is identical to a Miller table. You never want to see gold in this part. I mean, you miss some, but that's what it's there for, is to catch it in case you do. Sometimes it rolls off. There's some super micros down at the bottom of that. I don't even know if you guys will even see it. Most people would just chuck it, but that's not what we do in this camp. And working real fine black sand like that. If the lip is too thick on a cleanup pan, when you dip it in the water, it splashes and it moves everything around too much. That's why the lip on this is real thin. You can see how it just spreads that super fine black sand off of there. But you can get this absolutely as clean as a Miller table. And I think this pan is only like, Falcon pan's like 20 bucks. I'll try to show you guys this. This is a little extreme. Most guys wouldn't go through all this just for this tiny little bit, but you can see it right in the very edge, right in there, just tiny. That's what rolled off the Miller table. Especially all things country. How wide I'm subscribed, brother. I know you got the toys. If you guys haven't been to All Things Country's channel, he's got a really good channel. Let me get you guys moved. Hang on 2 seconds. Get the scale. Things dry off here. All right, I'm gonna move you. Better sorted where I can see you guys. We got two left over here. Here we go. That's better. Go on Amazon or Temu. I think I got those from I can't remember the name. It's a computer store here in Georgia. They have them just about in every state. Micro Center. That's where I got these at. These are Pros kit, but they have different glasses inside too. So you can go with a certain magnification and you fold these up and it's even 2 times. And then you got that's 3 times, but it goes pretty far into magnification and it's got a little light in it. But I like it because I like looking at the material, all the material, not just the gold close up. And I love these things. These are nice. And the reason why I like them is because when you're done drying out your material, it funnels right into a vial. That's my nugget I got with my detector in the tailings pile. That's a 0.4. Gold take this year. It's fun. I enjoy it. This is drying out here. I have another one. We'll weigh it out. Everybody gives us crap about not making any money doing this, but I mean, you know, there's some guys who, I mean, fishing alone can be an expensive hobby. I know a lot of bass fishermen that own $60,000 bass boat, $100,000 truck, catching fish and throwing them back in the water. So, I mean, to each their own. Yeah, some nice gold.
I used to do a lot of metal detecting up north. And that's a 1942 Mercury dime. That's silver. I used to hunt metal detect a lot of New York City parks. A lot of silver. Like a lot. A lot. But Mercury dimes, Seededs, Barber dimes, Roosevelts, you know, before they changed to clad, it's all silver. And before I started prospecting, when I was up there, I was a big metal detectorist. So I was doing a lot of park hunting, but I did a lot of beach hunting too. Up to my chest, underwater machines, big sand scoops. But I always tell everybody that asks me about how much money do you make prospecting like this, you'll make more money with a metal detector going to a park, a local park, and picking up all the quarters and dimes that everybody's lost. You'll make more money doing that than you would do this. Like I can go get $30 worth of pocket change that fell out of pockets at my sports field over here in a matter of an hour or two versus a couple dollars an hour doing this. Bad kitty, yeah. It's metal detecting is, I mean, it goes hand. I love my metal detector that I have now, but I've been metal detecting for, God, 30 years. $52.80, yeah, yeah. It's just, I love it. I mean, I don't necessarily, some of my videos, I'm using my metal detector, and I'm not necessarily looking for gold. I use it to look for where the heavies are at. So if I'm finding lead shot, heavy mineralization, my mineralization bar will go, like if there's a gravel bar and I go over that with the coil and I see that mineralization bar peg out and then drop back off, I follow that line of heavy mineralization with a metal detector. That's where I dig, and it locates everything to an area for me, so I'm not just shoveling my ass off trying to, you only got so much fuel in the tank before your shed burns down, and then that's it, so I use it to kind of narrow my searches down. Yeah. Oh, I did really well in the Northeast. I was anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000 every summer. I used to take all my jewelry I'd find, I'd have it assayed in Texas. They'd chemically melt everything. Any of the false stones would come back to me, frosted. Any of the real stones, I have like the folded papers full of diamonds and rubies and emeralds and stuff from the jewelry, people losing gold. I found a $1,800 platinum band come up as a pull tab, pull tab off of a pop can. It came up as a pull tab. I dug it up, $1,800 just like that. Yeah, iron, yeah. Well, your machine should tell you if you're on iron or not. If you have a metal detector, mine will tell me if it's iron, if it's in that gold range, if it's copper, if it's lead, if it's coins. It'll tell me, so I don't have to dig up a bunch of stuff. Sometimes I get bored and I'll dig it up anyway. But all right, Cruzy. What do you guys think? I'm thinking maybe point one, maybe point two, but I'm thinking point one. Let me get this moved over. Hold on. Not zeroed out. Zeroed out. I can't touch this with my hands because that's gonna be hot as all Hades. Zeroed out. Dime is just for reference on size. Thinking point one, maybe point two. Been wrong before though. .15. 0.16. I was close. 0.15, that's a nice big piece right in there though. I'll get you guys out of there to get a better peeksy poo. Golden trout prospecting, yes sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, sometimes you get lucky, and I was in a tailings pile and I found that with my detector. But whenever I'm bringing my metal detector, I'm not necessarily looking for gold. I'm looking for where the heavies are falling out at. That's to me, hold on guys, I'm gonna change it back around. But that to me is what I use it for. And having a detector that has the mineralization on it is super key. Here, I'll grab my detector just so you guys can see it. But yeah, it's the reason why I used to run Mine Labs a lot. Mine Lab is a brand. This is XP. XP is made in France. It's a French company. But my rod is literally that. And then I have two coils. I have the 11-inch coil. And then I have this is the high frequency, this goes up to 74 kilohertz coil. And it's really made for gold. But to put all this is, I like it because it's just super light and it's packable. Because when you're bringing prospecting gear, that's the metal detector right there. The control head is all wire. The whole thing is wireless. There's no cables for the coil that run a wrap around. You see the old style. This is all a wireless detector. So it's all to put it together. That's it. This piece here goes on here. That's it. Or you could take it off and have it around your neck, in your pocket or whatever, and then all you're doing is swinging this part. That's it. Super light, super packable, super powerful. You know, especially with the gold coil on it. But the control box is completely separate and wireless from the coil. I have it set on fine gold. There's two gold modes. This is the ORX. It's gonna go crazy in here. This is the ORX, but you can get different coils for it. This is that nugget. And it'll tell you on the screen the number. It'll give you the number of what that's hitting at about a 52. Real sharp signal. Gold. Yeah, it's ORX, XP ORX. They make a Deus too. I don't need all the features of their flagship stuff. I just wanted something that was simple, kind of turn on and go. There's two what they call coin modes, and then there's two gold modes, but you can also set up your own modes as well. But the headphones are wireless, the coil is wireless, the control box is wireless, and the pinpointer is wireless. When I turn the pinpointer on, it'll switch over and you can hear it in your ears. But I like that everything's wireless, everything's super packable, lightweight. I love it. It's been a really good detector for the speed of it. Powerful. God, this thing is just absolutely insanely powerful for a VLF. Now, it's not a pulse induction like the Garrett Axioms or the Mine Lab XP or GPXs. Those are like $6,000-$7,000 machines. This is around $500, depending on the coil you get for it. But I can set this in the park mode with that big coil, this one. And all I have to do is take this one off, put this one on, just slide it in there and set it to this coil on here. Now I'm in park mode and I can just sweep a sports field, and you find jewelry, chains, anything like that. You know, it's a good way to find gold. A lot of people say, is there gold in my state? Well, it depends on how you look at it, right? Maybe you live in a state that doesn't have natural alluvial gold, but you can go to a tot lot with the wood chips, go around the swing sets. You'd be surprised at the jewelry you find, and that's gold too. So there's always different ways to treasure hunt. Sometimes you just find artifacts that are neat that, you know, may not be worth a whole lot. Like I found Civil War bullets here in Georgia with this detector. I found an oil lamp, a little reading oil lamp from the Civil War with this detector. So, you know, sometimes the things you find isn't always have a dollar value. Sometimes it's just a value to you because it's neat and it's interesting. So, but yeah, that's my throw on it. But I've made good money metal detecting on the beaches and stuff. And when I go to Florida, I'll take this with me again. No issues there. Beach hunt. Yeah, I hear you, golden trout, for sure. Work always gets in the way. I was 22 years a high school teacher in New York City. I semi-retired. Now I work maybe one day a month. I do a forensic reconstruction now, but yeah, it's learning the numbers or you know, just learning your machine. You'll get in tune with it to where you'll hear nuances in the tones even without even having to look at numbers. And that's what I always teach anybody who I teach metal detecting. It's all in the tones, and having a detector that has a really good nuance in tone, you'll know junk from good targets. Usually good targets are very sharp sounding. Junky targets, foil, crappy stuff will be all broken up. And nuggets sound real sharp versus hot rocks and things like that. But yeah. This has been a good machine. I even got their pack and their pinpointer, but yeah, the French did a really good job on that. I'm real happy with it. For a gold detector, it's great. I mean, just like I said, it's not a pulse induction, but I'm not digging a bunch of iron either with it. All right, gang, I'm gonna get this scooped into here. Add it to my ever-growing pile for the year. That's what I like about these little triangle. It makes it easy to put into these vials. Yeah, that's not bad. I still think the Lost Mine site's better as far as take goes. But that it's not been worked. Where I was at the club property, that's all been worked over for years by people. So it was still pretty good. Getting to that bank was different. You know, it wasn't in a creek, but there was a bank where they excavated out. There was a big pile there they were running, but that pile, I test panned it and I went over it with a metal detector. I wouldn't run it. You know, if you're sitting there feeding a big, high banker, you know, like you see in the video, that guy made one out of a toolbox. That's different. You know, then you're going to get gold out of attrition, right? You throw enough dirt at it, eventually you get something. But me being small, micro scalable that I am, I can't feed that much material all day like that. So I poked around, and that's why I like that gold claw, because I can just take a scoop in there, pan it out real fast, back pan it, check it out, boom, okay, we're on gold or we're not on gold. And I dug down about 2 feet and I started hitting like a bedrock shelf in that embankment, getting multiple colors out of there. And you know, it was good. The clay was hell to work through though. That clay was just a nightmare because you put scoops in there and you're having to sit in there, break it up with your hands. Your hands are getting sore from just working, massaging that material in that little basket to melt it all. But it was fun anyway. But I appreciate you guys coming and hang out with me on a little live stream. But I'm going to probably try to get out to Blankets Creek this coming up week maybe and do some panning. Take the Pro-Pan out and take the hand dredge out there and get into some of those pockets. She's good. She's good. I'll show you where she's at. There she is. Miss Crazy Train. Always on the lookout. Yeah. She's a good girl. Loves going camping. Keeps me safe anyway. She's on guard duty all night, sleeping on my legs, and then during the day she wants to sleep or play or Bali. That whole rack right here is all her stuff. Oh, but she's got her Bali. See, she's got the Bali over here. She'll stand over there and be like, looking for it. What do you think about them apples? What do you think about them apples? What do you think? What do you think? Oh, yeah. That's a smoocher. Yeah, she's excellent, guys. She really is. To get her, and I started making a video about her. That's just about her and the breed, because I get a lot of people asking me about her, and she's not the kind of dog. First, Belgian Malinois are violent. They're just a violent, aggressive dog, and it took me 2 years to find her with her demeanor. I didn't want a service dog to be aggressive towards people, kids, other dogs, but I knew the Malinois breed is a really good breed because they're smart. I wanted more of an adventure dog, a dog that can go camping with me, go biking with me, go prospecting with me, not be afraid of the creek or the water, that I could train myself. And it took me a while, but Atlanta Police Department got her whole litter, except they didn't want her because she wasn't aggressive. So the breeder called me and said, hey, I got a pup you might want to look at. And I wanted a female because males generally challenge you as dogs. So, and females are smaller. But yeah. So I started doing a little video. I just don't want people to get the wrong idea. She's beautiful. She's lovely. Everybody loves her on the videos. She's not a dog for everybody. She's not a house dog. And she's not even a sporting dog like a retriever or a lab, where you can just play ball with them and they're fine. She needs an actual job or she gets crazy, so there's play time, but then there's job time, and she needs that job time. She's both hand signals. Her e-collar that I put on her does all three: stimulation, like a 10 system. It does sound and vibration, but all I ever use is sound and vibration with her. And generally she stays within 30 yards of me. When I'm working and she's working with me, I have her on a leash, a retractable, and I clip it to myself, so it just keeps people, because I do forensics, and people want to walk up because they see forensics on your back, and they're, hey, what are you doing? And I'm on a scene doing an inspection. I can't have people coming up on me. So she keeps people at bay. And I trained her to go between my legs, so at night, if there's a disturbance in my house or somebody's breaking in, I can clear the house and she's with me between my legs in the dark, so I know where she's at before I tell her to go attack. But she also does it as a way to hug me too. But yeah, she's really good. She stays and all that. Oh yeah. yeah. But I trained her too. She's on my payroll, and I trained her to, because a lot of times in an auto accident, you'll have body transfer fluid, right? Your body fluid will transfer onto the roadway, and it'll dry. And I don't get out there. They don't send me out until like a week later or 2 weeks later to a site where the accident happens. And I have to locate that, measure and photograph that. Well, I trained her to smell that on the roadways, and she'll stop and point it, and then I could put my measurements out and photograph it. Oh, nice, yeah. Yeah. I just, I got to eat and put food on the table and pay bills, and man, I wanted to have my teeth done here in the States. I really did, guys. I was looking in Florida, California. I was going to everywhere. I was looking for the old guy out in the desert with the leather, I was looking for him, just drink a fifth of whiskey and have him do my teeth. I was looking for that guy, and it just wasn't here. I was trying, but yeah, I had a really good experience going to Colombia and getting all my teeth done for sure. You ready for food times? Probably. She wants to go running on the bike. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you coming out, man. Yep. Bad Kitty, I appreciate you. And thank you guys for watching the videos, coming out and hanging out with us.